Hello, everybody. I am just getting the chat going, making sure you're all there. Please come and say hello. I have books that I've staged in the background of my hotel room, leaping off the wall. Okay. I'm just going to add the presentation. Okay, so here we are, week 5. We are at week 5. Books are falling down. Interesting. Okay, I'm so excited to be sharing week 5 with you. It is not accidental that it's not accidental that week 5 is called the 5 touch points. I think it's very funny that the books are careening off the shelf. I'm gonna go just take them out so they don't destroy our recording. Hold, please. Okay, and I'm back. Hello. Okay. Week 5. It is not a coincidence that week 5 is called the 5 touch points. I wanted it to work with you as far as like remembering 5 weeks, 5 touch points, and wanted to make sure that it made sense. When I wrote From Buzz to Bond, it is a bit of a manifesto. For those of you that have read it, it's only 66 pages long. It talks about a philosophy and a mindset, and it's less about going really, really deep. So this course has given me a tremendous opportunity to go really, really deep, which I'm so excited about. And it's also allowed me to really think through these 5 touch points and what I wanted to say about them this week. The 5 touch points philosophy comes from a study that was shared somewhat widely not very long ago at a big conference, where this conversation of superfans, which as we know is like a giant buzzword that came flooding back, even though it is not a new word, it is a buzzword that a lot of industry people have been really focused on for the last couple of years. And the question isn't really about superfans and how to get them. The question is, what do you have to do to get a superfan, and what makes a superfan? So there was a Luminate review, or it was a study that talked really deeply about how superfans are created. And 5 touch points was what kept getting repeated. Like a fan needs to see or be aware of you 5 times to be converted from ambient or sort of person in the ether to super fan. And that is where I named 5 touch points, but I've had time to deep dive around 5 touch points this week. And I have come up with something that I think is revelatory, a real aha moment around 5 touch points. And it left me with a lot to share. So I'm going to dive in. Here we go. As we know, we're in week 5. The whole point of bonding is we want to build strategies that create direct connections, fandom, and authentic community where superfans are born, not through hype, but through time, consistency, and meaningful engagement. As we know, the three core principles are building ownership, fostering community, and providing value. Interestingly, in the first couple of weeks, we provided value. We built the landing page with the juicy offer. That is your first touch point for all of the work that we're going to do today, but that's one value add. As we get into building fan sanctuaries next week and even into repeatable strategies, you're going to find new access points for providing value. Fostering community. Today we had a member of this group say already, I was on social media and I noticed comments, and she already managed to foster a little bit of community by adding a couple of complete strangers on social media onto her email list, which of course builds ownership. This course builds. Week 1 is about getting your brand and fan completely solid and a voice that you can speak to social media. Week 2 is about tuning up your social media and your website and cleaning up your fan journeys. We're going to also talk about that today more. Week 3 is about capture buckets, a main CTA on your website, which, as we just talked about, is the touch point for providing value. Week 4, we went all the way deep with email list, getting your autoresponders firing, and what formatting and rethinking your email list is going to look like. So in the book, this is actually a page from the book, I touch on 5 touch points. To move a fan from passive to passionate, they need at least 5 meaningful interactions with you. This is the heart of the bond marketing funnel. It requires authenticity, consistency, and care. What we're going to build this week are defining what a touch point is, looking at another major part of the book, which is your 3 communities, looking at 5 touch point rules. I'm going to give you a massive aha insight, which I'm calling the proximity insight. We're going to look at what a touch point journey looks like and feels like in real life using a real life client that we worked with that had amazing success. And then you're going to get a challenge, which is the 25 new email, text list, or socials challenge. Guided progression from ambient to bonded, that is the goal. Why? You deserve a real fan base. You deserve a real fan base that is not controlled by an oligarch, by someone whose last name is Eck or Zuck. This is what you deserve. So, touch points are creating moments that feel personal and participatory. Attention passes when you're on social. Thoughtful connection compounds. As one of our class mates showed today, just in her interactions, stopping people in their attention scroll and being thoughtful works. How it could show up, and we're also going to be talking about some of these things that are listed here in the next 2 weeks, because I really began to rethink touch points. Could be thoughtfully replying to comments and DMs, sending personalized messages, and then figuring out how to communicate and ask. What is a touch point? A touch point is a moment of real contact that moves a fan one step closer to bonding with you. So in other words, it's a guided step forward. Before we can talk about those exact touch points, though, I want to give you a little bit of context. And this is an article that I wrote years ago called Your 3 Communities. If you dig around at cyberprmusic.com, you will find there's 3 major blog posts where I go deep about your 3 communities. And I touched them and revisited them, as I do every couple of years in the book. And here is how I visualize them. I first learned about the idea of ambient fans in the New York Times, just when social media was starting out. They were writing about the idea of a passive online audience. And in the context of what we're talking about today, I would say an ambient fan has had somewhere between 0 and 2 touch points with you. So they're aware of you, they don't yet interact, they may not have heard your music yet, they could be following you because of a hashtag, they saw you and took notice, maybe they like your cat, your food, your hat, something. An engaged fan is likely to have had 2 to 5 touch points. Although today, I can show you how you might not even need 2 to 5 to get an engaged fan. So they engage sometimes on your socials, or you talk to them there. They follow you maybe on more than one social media channel. They've likely streamed your music, or they're aware that you make music. Maybe they're on your email list and they open some emails and they respond to calls to action. And then you want to move from engaged fans up into super fandom. These are our bonded true fans. They've likely had contact with you more than 5 times, hence the 5 touch points. Maybe they've joined your Patreon or a fan sanctuary or an email list. They've maybe attended a live stream or a show. They are following you on socials, they spread the word, and they are buyers. The most common mistake that I see is artists assume when they open up their phone or get on their laptop or they're about to do social media that if someone follows you, they're invested, they're equal. They are not. Some followed you for your cat or for where you live or for something that touched them just very, very passively. Some liked just one reel. Some have never heard a single song. This is my real life cat, and I get follows because I have a cat and I do Catter Day, and some people follow that hashtag. They are not interested in music marketing. They're not interested in most of the things I have to say, but they do love my 21-year-old cat. And that's okay. They can still follow. They will always be likely ambient fans because I'm not doubling and tripling down on cat posts, and that's okay. The attention is not always going to equal commitment. And when you speak to ambient, engaged, and super fans in the same way, you are stalling your own growth because the different levels of investment require different levels of invitation. So that's the 3 communities philosophy. This process takes time. We already spoke a little bit about the fan journey in some previous lessons, but moving someone from discovery, which is ambient, to direct connection requires repetition. I want to repeat that. Moving someone from discovery to direct connection requires repetition. That's why this part is labor intensive and it is worth it. It is also a major mindset shift. So this week, I am definitely asking you to rethink the way you may have been behaving. The focus this week is touchpoint accumulation and intentional invitation. So we want to increase meaningful interactions per fan. We want to notice the warm humans. We want to invite them into direct connection. We want to have authentic interactions, intentional replies, DM follow-ups, participation. If you're playing out or seeing people, that could be in-person connection. You don't need more reach. This is the thing that messes us up when it comes to buzz marketing. We're grabbing meta ads and we're we're like going for all the Spotify plays because we feel like I just need as many people as possible to hear my music. And that is literally the number one thing clients say to me when they want to work with my agency. I just want as many people as possible to hear my music. You don't need more reach. You need movement from the community that you already have. Okay, here's the emotional truth. You are likely one step, not 5 steps away from adding dozens of people to your email list. Because for warm fans, the missing touch point isn't marketing, it's courage. Most artists do not want to ask because they're afraid of being annoying, of being salesy, of being rejected, or it hasn't occurred to you to just ask. So they hint or they imply or they hope, and nothing moves. So what this is really about is fans do not automatically move deeper. It's the rare outlier fan that actually comes to the party and knows what to do. So fans have to be led. This is not about how great your content is. It's about your leadership. And leadership requires sales, discomfort, and direct invitation. It doesn't have to feel uncomfortable or salesy, but I would be doing you a major disservice if I didn't mention the S word, because you have to get buy-in. Your fans want to help you. They just don't know how. You have to show them. They must be led, they must be educated, and they must be invited. I love marketing statistics, likely because I'm a marketer, but also a nerd. And also, I think statistics can really give us a visceral jumping off point. And this was one that I really love. It costs 5 to 25 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one. So customer is a bit, I think, of a harsh word when we're talking about art and music and getting people to fall in love and be in love with you as a creator. But this is again why buzz marketing irritates the heck out of me. People are spending all this money trying to acquire new before they've really looked at a bird in the hand. So this leads me to the genius twist of the 5 touch points. It's called the proximity insight. And this is what's so cool. And when I was thinking this through, I was so excited when I realized, wait a minute, we don't need 5 touch points. Likely, a lot of you only need 1 or 2. Some fans are already at 4, so to speak. So this is not about working harder. It's about looking closer. And again, you don't need more strangers. You need to notice the warm humans that are already leaning in. It's finishing the relationship. So you're not 5 touch points away. You are 1 ask away. Okay, so are you ready for the most powerful tool that actually accomplishes this? It's a spreadsheet. I warned you, this was not going to be sexy. Touch points do not happen by accident. They happen when you notice, when you track, and when you follow up. Bonding is not glamorous, it's organized. So when I was a young entrepreneur and I was starting my company, I started when I was way too young, and I did it because my mother was an entrepreneur and no one gave me permission. And I thought, okay, I'm just doing this. And for a couple of years, I really deeply struggled. And I deeply struggled because I was just so excited to be around musicians. I was so excited that anyone would want to work with me. I was so excited that I got to go to concerts and be close to the music and share in the joy of the creation of the thing. And I loved what I was doing. However, a couple of years into being a business owner, I was struggling, and I hired a CEO for hire. And that CEO had an MBA, and she came to my office. She interviewed everyone on my team, and she realized that the reason why I wasn't making a lot of money was I was spending more money, time, effort, and energy on working the artist than I was in scaling the business. So, how did she do this? With spreadsheets. She wrote down on a spreadsheet everything my team and I did, how long it took each one of us to do it, what the results were, and she immediately started looking at and tracking. And as she did that, my entire agency transformed. So it's a spreadsheet. You're going to notice, you're going to track, and you're going to follow up. I want to show you how this spreadsheet philosophy works in real life. Here's how the journey looks. So, Nikki Richards is one of the most unbelievable musicians I've ever had the privilege of representing. Nikki is a top line, first call backup singer. She has been on world tour with literally everyone, Madonna on down. She has performed with, you name a household name, Nikki has likely stood on stage with that person. She is professional, she is incredible, she is well networked, and when she came to us, she was releasing her own music, which she has been doing for years, but she was signed to a label. Of course, the world has changed, and now she was self-releasing. And she came to my office and we were sitting and talking about all the world tours she's been on, all the studios she's been in, all the people she's collaborated with, all the amazing musicians she stood on stage with, her producers, her collaborators, her co-writer. Her brother is even an insanely talented musician, and he plays with her. And this is a woman who does not lack contacts. So I gave her this challenge. I gave her the spreadsheet challenge. And I actually took a screenshot of it so you could see. Nikki one weekend texted me a video, and the video was her with her spreadsheet open. And she was like, girl, this is so hard and so tedious and so crazy, and I don't love you very much right now, but it's getting done. And I opened up my phone and I was howling, laughing. And I was also so proud of her. You could see what I said. Oh my God, it's so tedious, but it's so worth it. These are the fans. These are, I can barely read this because it's so small. These are the people. I can't read because my glasses. No, these are the people, real people, tedious now, and basically rewarding later. And I'm so proud of you. So that's what I said to Nikki. She put 750 people on a spreadsheet. Then she booked her show at City Winery, which is a very large venue in New York City and a very expensive venue. And she booked some of the most incredible talented people to perform with her because that's the world she knows. And we put the show on sale. And not only did she have to first ask for everyone to come on to her email list, after the show went on sale, we had to do some social media posts where we were really honest about, hey, we need you to buy tickets. New York City is a wildly overbooked place where people are constantly busy and people do a lot of walk up last minute. And we had to say, here is what it looks like, and we need more ticket sales. And her fans came through with flying colors. Nikki Richards had an almost, I think it maybe was sold out show at City Winery that artists are still talking about, and it was phenomenal. And so that happened in the summer of 2025. And here's her post that she did in around New Year's. Happy New Year. 2025 was full of special moments. The release of Love Life album, live performances of the album featuring the most amazing musicians, connecting with so many new people, forging wonderful new relationships and alliances, as well as deepening and strengthening existing bonds. I didn't write this. I wish I did, but I didn't. I am happily galloping into 2026 with renewed energy and a ton of music to share. Giddy up. Check out anything live at City Winery on my YouTube channel. So, this is the exact result of what happens when you take the time to add stuff to a spreadsheet and reconsider your warmest bonds. Here we go. You are one touch point away to getting people on to your email list, not 5. You don't have to go do 5 things. We can talk about 5 things when we begin to unpack the next 2 weeks of this course. But this to me was such an aha revelation and so exciting. Your phone is a list building machine. Everyone you text counts. If someone gave you your number or if you have their number in your phone, that is trust. Text them, personally invite them to join your email list. This does not require wordsmithing anything clever. It does not require thinking through what an email looks like. It is human, it is direct, it is clear. For any friends of yours or family members that said, keep me posted on your music career. For all your music collaborators, I mean anyone you were ever in a studio with, a mixer, a masterer, a session person, anyone, any industry contacts, they're already warm. They just haven't been invited. So pop them a quick text. Hey, I'm building my email list more intentionally. Want the link? ? Or I've set up a really cool bribe that you played on, you mixed, you mastered, you engineered, you were the inspiration for, you already know because you come to my shows and sing, however you want to say that. And when they say, yes, I want the link, copy paste the link, your next 50 subscribers are likely already in your phone. Your email inbox is a list building machine. Everyone you meet counts. You're likely also meeting new people every week. Why are they not on your email list? So how you're going to do this is you're going to create a filtered folder called potential email subscribers. When someone emails you and they feel like they might be aligned, move them into that folder. Once a month, sit down for one focused hour and invite them to join your list. Don't forget to look for your past buyers. Pull your records from your CD Baby, your PayPal, your Venmo, your Squarespace. Anyone who has purchased from you is already a warm, possible list subscriber. They are your highest probability subscribers. Scheduling list building time is key because if it's not scheduled, it won't happen. There are also likely business cards in a drawer, LinkedIn requests waiting, old conversations that you forgot about sitting anywhere in your inbox. Your next 50 subscribers are already there. So there is a action spreadsheet. It is different because this one is a shared Google Doc. So it is going to be in the downloadable action sheets. But if you want to grab it right now because you're thrilled and excited, you can go to this link, bit.ly/BTB_build, and you can see what it looks like and you can start putting names there. If you're the kind of brain that needs to put 25 names in a list first, or 50 names or 20 names, however many you want, this is a wonderful place to organize them all, because once you start bringing people into your world, it can get messy quickly. The next two action sheets are your inbox goldmine, and I've got some accentuated tips on how to use your inbox to build. And then there's the warm ask email script. And this is different examples of exactly the copy you can copy and paste, put it in ChatGPT or wordsmith it yourself to ask people to join your email list. Time and effort is what it takes to get this goal. The process of moving fans away from socials is not going to be an easy one, but once you do this, you will have full control and ownership of your communication and community. So with social media, it's a little bit different than with diving through your inbox and or your text messaging list where they already know you. So I want to show you some real life examples of things some of our clients have done, and some of these aren't even our clients. They're things I just noticed online that I loved. These are likely more ambient fans. They're going to require intention. Ambient fans need consistent, meaningful interactions to move deeper into your world. The key is to create moments that feel personal and participatory. That is a quote from the book. So they're not going to move forward by accident. They move when you create the moments that invite them in. So here is and how you can invite some fans to take action on social media. Don't collect first, connect first. People are already paying attention. Don't let that attention scroll away. And you may need to ask more than once in different ways or on different days. So the first thing that you want to do is educate with posts. Those can be in and should be in your own voice. We worked on brand voice at the first week of this course. Think about what would be on brand. How would you like to share what your journey feels like? How would you like to share how meaningful it would feel if someone could take an action from your social media and give it a whirl? Think about that first. That's absolutely key. And then once those educational posts are there, you want to comment back, engage publicly. You want to make sure that there are comments actually happening on those posts. And you might even queue up a few of your friends to say, hey, could you please leave me? I'm about to post something, or I've just posted something here on social media. It would really, really help me if you leave a comment. And I have a group of colleagues in the music business, and we have a WhatsApp. Whenever one of us posts something on LinkedIn and we feel like we need this, we'll hit the WhatsApp group and say, hey, just posted something. Please come and give it a like, give it a comment. And the minute you start getting likes and comments on socials, it juices the algorithm. So it's important to do that. Here is a Feminista Bolus, Feminista Fabulous post that I found. It was a while ago, but I loved it. I have a big announcement. For the last few months, I've been working hard on something I hope you'll love, a snazzy, fancy newsletter. Airplane mode is a place for us to meet without all the distraction and all the depression, my version of a cool, inclusive community center on the internet where everyone is welcome. As an extremely online person, I feel burned out by all the apps and wanted to create a space just for us without algorithms that don't have your mental health at heart. I hate that the only place to connect with me is somewhere that tends to make you feel bad about yourself or the world, so I wanted to create an alternative. It's no secret that the media industry is going through some stuff. Social media companies that put profit over people and government's impotence towards them has threatened journalists with mass layoffs and cutbacks, so we need to support to keep doing our work. I keep being told that solutions-based journalism can't survive in the current news business model, so consider the newsletter our collective revenge body. Airplane mode is our mental health pit stop, a spiritual speed bump of sorts. It's like if a newsletter could be a vitamin. I need a place that makes me feel good, and I thought you might too. See you there. Subscribe. So, when I saw this, I was literally just scrolling on social media and I saw this and it made me stop in my tracks. And it got served to me because it had almost 1,100 likes on it, as you can see. And this performed incredibly well. So this is the kind of thing I mean by make it obvious that you've got something out there and explain why it's important. Here is something our beautiful client Fiona Joy did. She lives in Australia, and there was actually some really strange things that were happening with Australians getting locked out on Facebook. And she panicked. She realized that most of her communication was happening via Facebook. And she knew that she had to do something about that. So the message that she used to convert her followers looks like this. Hi, Ariel. I hope this message finds you well. Given the recent issues with Aussie lockouts on Facebook, I would like to connect personally with you and ask that if you are interested in my music, please consider joining my mailing list. I send out a newsletter once a month. See, she's saying what to expect. And would love to let you know when I have new music. If you are not interested, I won't be offended at all if you unfollow me here. However, I would love to keep in contact with you. Here is the sign up. And there she connected to a bribe. She didn't even mention the bribe, but there is one when you go to Fiona Joy. And I actually, when I saw this, I contacted her and I said, how did that go? She got hundreds of new people signing up. And it took time, it took effort, it took energy. She actually has a lot of followers and she had to go hit them up individually and she could only do a few a day and it was a big pain in the ass. Yes. However, it resulted in hundreds of new people on Fiona's email list. This is one that we are so proud of. Mecca created a beautiful landing page for our gorgeous client. His name is Ray Levier. I've talked about him and his offers. He got 50 people to sign up to his email list by creating this Instagram reel, which also got posted as a Facebook story. It was a little quick animation that Mecca recorded on his phone using Screen Grab. And he recorded just scrolling down what the page looks like. And you can see here, there's some quotes, there's a photo. He was featured in these publications. Get your free music, enter your name, your email address, and you'll receive Ray's latest single. And we put a little arrow and boom, 50 people joined his email list. So this could be a quick down and dirty way to show off your bribe. I have an action sheet for this. This will walk you through how to ask across your social channels for email buy-in. And I've got a little blurb for each and every single one of the channels, how to capture emails from socials. Inviting fans to sign up live. For those of you that play out live, In Real Life is a spectacular place. In real life is where so much connection happens if you know how to leverage it correctly. Obviously, you want to capture emails at your live shows without being weird about it. People are already emotionally invested. They're there. Don't let them walk out the door. Live shows are likely your highest converting moments. We already talked about QR codes in class a couple weeks ago. Use a QR code, use a tablet at your merch table. Keep your paper as a backup, but sometimes people can have terrible handwriting, or maybe they had a cocktail or two and it's a mess. Collect email and Instagram handle and zip code so you can segment for future shows. It's always helpful also to assign a human being to circulate the room and ask. Announce it clearly from stage, offer something specific in return, like your big fat juicy offer. Run a raffle. That is a huge one where you hold something up on stage, something good. And you could say, hey, for everyone that signs up to my email list this evening, I'm going to raffle off this t-shirt, hat, duffel bag, my old pair of sneakers. I swear to you, I had a hip hop artist who raffled off his old Adidas to get signups to his email list. Whatever's on brand for you, whatever works for you is great. There is an action sheet for capturing emails at shows. Okay, here's what we're going to do now. I am going to challenge you. 25 is the number that I came up with. For those of you who are ambitious, you might want to do 35, 45, 55, 100. I had a client once that did 250. Nikki Richards did 750 people. Pick a number, grab your phone, text 25 friends or collaborators. Or do this on email. Do an email challenge. Add 25 names to the spreadsheet. Reach out and ask each person individually. And remember this, if people say, no, it's not for me, or no, thank you, or they don't respond, move on. It's not personal. People are overwhelmed. People don't always love more email in their inbox, which is totally understandable. 25 asks on social. First, create at least one social post that educates your fans. You could use any of the formats that I showed you already. Or look around and see if you've ever seen an artist that has done this. I see artists doing it quite frequently, and I think it's brilliant. After you post about that, what your artist reality is in whatever tone that suits you, get a conversation happening around it via comments, and then use the social media prompt action sheet, slide into their DMs, ask directly, make the request there. And of course, your big fat juicy bribe is your incentive. Here is our week 5 summary. This week is about turning passive attention to intentional movement. Instead of chasing new eyeballs, we are focusing on deepening the relationships already forming around you, because not all fans are the same. Ambient, engaged, and superfans exist at different levels of investment. And when you speak to them all the same way, growth stalls. Bonding requires 5 meaningful touch points, but maybe not. Not random interactions, guided steps forwards. Repetition and care is what's key here. And you explored what a touch point is. It's a moment of real contact that moves a fan closer to direct connection. Then we had a shift. You are not necessarily 5 touch points away. Some fans are already at number 4. And the opportunity isn't more reach, it's finding the relationship. That means noticing the warm humans already leaning in, tracking them, following up, making the ask. Because for many artists, the missing touch point is not strategy, it's courage. So our takeaway is simple. You don't need more visibility. You need leadership and courage. 5 touch points can build bonding, but often you are only one ask away. So I would love to do some Q&A in the comments if anybody has comments. And if anybody has any posts that they've already done on social media that might be doing a shout out, I could do a quick live web audit if you would like me to take a look. Okay. I don't see. I don't see any questions. Looks like we are a wrap. All right, guys. Thank you so much for a happy and productive week number 5 in the Buzz to Bond Live Mastermind. I can't wait to see what your challenges are. If you could email me individually and let me know what your number is, I'd love to see what you decide to take on. And okay, there is one question. I have a large list, but how do I bring that into music? You go to that list and you write an impassioned email that says, I know you know me from this world, literary, poetry, academic, something, knowing you, but you might just then say, I also make music. I would love to have you join me on my musical journey. Here it is. All right, everyone, have a spectacular rest of your day. I look very, very forward to chatting about this and all the other things next week.